There you go. We are live. And until got live on Instagram, everyone from the Facebook went away because we were, you get. So respect. The people are to be respected as well, like little doggies. And then everything that comes together with word respect need to be put together in.
I'm just checking to make sure it works.
Does it work?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, so take over.
Hi, everyone. Happy Labor Day weekend. I hope everyone is enjoying the long weekend.
Okay, today we're going to talk about what?
What do you want to talk about?
But we agreed on. What we agreed on?
About
Stacy?
respect.
But then can we add to the platform? Can we just be?
Yes, I'm just sending out the notification.
Just a second. You can
Instagram.
You can leave until we send the notification to the Instagram.
Okay, I sent it. So, yeah. Did you know that it's Labor Day weekend only in the US? Everywhere else it's on May 1st.
Oh, this is the Labor weekend? I didn't know it's about that. I was thinking like a summer ending, things like that.
Yeah. So I wonder why they don't celebrate it on May 1st like everyone else.
I don't know either.
Well, if anyone knows, let us know in the comments. So, what did you want to talk about today?
We agreed on that already.
Oh, you wanted to go over the questions?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
So, what we want to talk about today is actually lay out this dogs and awakening thing that I think it's very important for us to understand, because the lesson 1 is about respect. Respect means being present in time and understand what is the purpose of human-dog relationship and which kind of obligation and obligations and responsibilities everyone in that relationship has. So in order for us to experience joy, happiness, and love, in order not like a joyful experience that lasts a couple of seconds, but ongoing state of mind, we need to actually add. It's not something that just happened for granted. We need to really work hard on that. And there is a particular path to that. And all of that should be learned from dogs. About the Dogs in Awakening series, going to talk about how the dogs can help us at this moment, how the dogs are actually teaching us. There is nothing the mankind can teach dog at this point. It's opposite now. The dogs were waiting for too long, and now all of these can sound like very abstract and very kind of like, oh, he doesn't have a clue what he talks about. But if you give a little time to that, if you give a little time to these words and let the words awaken anger and frustration or some kind of joy, responsibility, and how you say that, maybe curiosity about what I'm talking about this and how all of this unfolded in the mind of someone that was so hardly interested just in the shape and form of a dog coat. How did I penetrate it? What happened in me that penetrated that space and time? And why did I started to be interesting in a human-dog soul interaction? Rather than bring me a bowl, sit down, lay there, go in the crate, win the trophy, behave nicely, be good to me. What I'm actually metaphorically and metaphysically trying to reshape, trying to re-engineer in my own life. So because of that, bringing that joy that the dogs can become our teacher at this point. And how do we become a respectful student, but not to lose our own integrity and what we are actually needed to fulfill in that human-dog relationship is that master leader's position. But when I say master, I don't say alpha, tough master, as veteran said last time, like aggression master, like go there, sit here, you're going to do this because I said so, and things like that. No, should be a Zen master. Should be like someone that leads by example. But once we start leading our dogs with example, miraculously, we're going to see that we radiate that Zen mastery through the spectrum of the relationship, including our workmates, our spouses, our students, our kids, our friends, and everything at once start to make sense. How do I become a friend as the dog is friend to me? That was my question. And then we laid the path towards that by observing the peaceful human interaction and something that would bring joy and happiness as an ongoing state of mind to a human experience. Because happiness is something that we experience from inside, and then we radiate it forward to the others. But our inner happiness is oftentimes actually triggered by the outside forces and outside impacts to our life. And then with all of those impacts and challenges that we are facing right now in a life and in a societies, in this radical mankind frequency shift that happens in consciousness, of human consciousness, not mind consciousness, no, global evolution of the human consciousness should be closer to a nature, should be closer we can't move on and on trying to, like a gamblers trying to do the same thing over and over and over and expect to get and gain a different results. So today we wanted to talk about respect as a first stepping stone towards pure love and harmony, like a pure love. When I say pure love, I mean the love that accepts the world and everything around us as it is. So that would be the as it is. Because if I say if I say that I love everyone the way they are, because everyone is in service of something greater. So from that point, especially the ones that I disagree with, no matter is it politically or it's no matter on which topic we disagree, both of us have our own perception. And both of us have an own perception that comes from much more like conditioning that was happening over and over and over in our lives, starting from our childhood, even ancestral conditioning and behavior. And then that turned into a family conditioning in behavior, then turned into a school and environmental conditioning and behavior. And that transmitted into a propagandist conditioning and behavior in service of the big political agenda, no matter on which side. So the question, when I want to see the world as it is, I need to find my place where actually the world doesn't need a change. But the place where I sit and I say, oh, the Democrats are okay. Oh, the Republicans are okay. Oh, everything is okay because everything serves something bigger. Some bigger agenda is always behind those things. I use specifically political terms because they are very, hot at this time. So all sides of the spectrum try the best to fix whatever they want to fix. But the problem becomes like when I want to fight for something that I think is more right than the other part. And that's again always leads into a war, no matter of which kind. And in any single war, there is no one winning. Both sides in a war are losing losing potential to growth, and overcome the obstacles that actually brought us to the world, to the war, no matter of which kind. It's not like a hunt, like a war with the guns, but the war with the mental mindset, the war with the thinking of I'm right, you are wrong. So how the war is, how my dog is accepting me the way I am, and where that respect starts from and ends up, and how can I learn from my dog to respect everyone else the way they are, and where do I gain that respect, and how do I understand the respect, would be this lesson, the first that we want to chat about. So you want to kind of say something on that? What do you think about respect when you say respect at your end? Like what would be your kind of like idea about what respect means? And you can also share your thoughts in a comment what the word respect actually mean, and how would you know that you respect someone? Because in order to be respected, we need to respect first. As you sow, so shall you reap. So respect of me starts by respecting you first. That is how the dogs get everything I want to get, everything they want to get us from us: attention, love, food, shelter, interaction, by giving us and respecting us for who we are. That's why we are so in love with our dogs, because the first thing we get from them is unconditional respect of who we are. And then, because they respect us of who we are, and they see that we are incapable of coping with the life challenges, then they start over. Then they try to take over the life, and they start to try to control the life, and then they end up in the anxious behavior, because they can't control the mankind and man-made world. The man-made world is based on some other than natural laws. The man-made world is full of moral laws, and full of some laws written in some books, and social laws, and all kind of the Bible laws, and all laws that man can come up with. But not necessarily all of those laws are matching the laws of nature. That the only one law is governing the animal behavior, and that's law of nature. And if we would be able to use dogs, not to abuse them by using, but to use them to reach that way of how do I communicate in the life by observing the natural law that exists in a relationship with me and a dog, and transfer that into interhuman relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. So some people would push back when you said you should respect everything the way it is. Does that mean you shouldn't try to get yourself out of a tough situation or to change your circumstance?
Yeah, I would no, that's opposite of what I say.
Well,
because
that's how it comes across.
Does it?
Yeah.
Like how? What did I just said?
You said respect everything the way it is. Respect the world as it is. Respect others' opinions.
But that's
as
not.
They are.
That's
which
not
is fine. But what about in your own?
But that's
individual.
Not. That's not
life?
That's not very passive respect. It's very active respect. Mm-hmm. Active respect means that you don't mind what the world is. The only way to change the world is to change one person at a time, and that will be our selfness in every one of us. And when the self shifts, and a lot of self shifts at the same time, the consciousness, human consciousness, shifts as well, a radical. That becomes a quantum leap. So I'm not telling like accept everything the way it is and just be passive around that. No, it's very self-centered, active respect. Because as Carol, I think she had like, I see it. If you respect yourself and love yourself, you share that with the dogs, and they in turn share that back with you, and they don't get that anxiety and upset about everything. Stays much calmer. That's exactly what we are talking about here. Great point, Carol. So in the moment, how this entire shift actually happens? How the respect become an action? The respect becomes an action, and now you will, now we come to the hard point. What does respect yourself means? Thank you, actually, Carol. That was a very good point. And by the way, I know that maybe a long time ago I was away from and I was living in Serbia, but now we are living in the LA, USA. So I'm kind of much closer to you than you think. So far away, America become my homeland as well. And I'm so proud of that finally I get the chance to share my dreams within this wonderful place of great opportunities. It just kind of, if you know how to source them properly, so they kind of help you get your story much further than I was able to do that. But I was not bothered with doing that in Serbia either, but I find it much easier to kind of blend in. Welcome to our crazy country. There you go. So let's get back to love yourself the way you are. Respect yourself. Am I good on here? What do you think about respect yourself? What that means? What that triggers in you when we kind of talk about respect yourself? Where do you take? How do you respect yourself?
By staying true to yourself, following your intuition, doing what makes you happy.
How do you follow your intuition if we know that if we know actually that we are a product of the ongoing conditioning that started with our family inheritance, with our parents, with our school, with our education? We actually mold ourselves in who we are today. So how sure I am to approach my true self if I'm conditioned through all of this?
Well, it starts by acknowledging that and realizing that, and then doing internal or self work like different meditations, yogas, religion, artistic expression, art, science. And through creating and putting things out there that are bigger than ourselves, we can kind of tap into that universality and really, find that thing that really makes us happy that's outside of the material realm.
Do you think that's the way to reach happiness? Actually, to reach that self-respect?
Yeah, I think anything that's creative, anytime you create, whether it's poetry or anything like that.
Then how come that all of those people that are very creative, and now you have a lot of people creative in the field of creating this online content and everything, yet when the critiques come, the bullying come and gets in place, oh, I don't like what you do, I don't like what you say, I don't like how you groom, I don't like what you write, I don't like your poetry, then actually when the object of our creativity becomes criticized from outer world, that affects us a lot. I know by myself, affects us a lot if we are not centered. How do you get centered? Because you know why that's happening? Because there is not yet, we do not became self-realized. We didn't came to a point of self-realization, and that is why the self-respect is missing. And we can't self-respect ourselves until we do not realize who we are, and we are a product of conditioning. Free will within our decisions on daily life is limited, if exist at all. It's on so small percentage that also the people we need to fight for, we need to overcome and overturn. That's almost impossible, because you do become of who you surround yourself with. You do become what you read, you do become what you eat, you do become what you listen. And then if we expose ourselves to all of those impacts, we create some very shallow understanding of our free will. And then we think that if we go to a restaurant, we are actually ordering a Coca-Cola because that's respect that affects that represents our free will in choosing the drink that we like. However, the millions of dollars of used in marketing and advertising from their end actually brought us close to those kind of companies that we identify with. And then finally, we think that we order a Coca-Cola because we like it. However, the millions of dollars invested in the marketing made us like it. And it's not only with the Coca-Cola. It goes back to why we are choosing a profession we choose, why we do things we do, why we like things we like, and how do we come to that point that you just described. Then when I express myself, I actually express a self of mine that transcend a level of conditioning. Pavlov proved that in experiment that we use every single time when we teach our dogs. Whatever we want to teach our dogs, we condition them to remember. And either we're going to use a force or we're going to use conditioning with the positive reinforcement. The outcome wouldn't be different. It remains the same. They will learn whatever we're going to teach them, either because they're going to connect the learning outcome with a positive enforcement or with a negative enforcement. Something they're going to do from joy, the other thing they're going to do from the fear, but they're going to perform anyhow. What's the difference? If we want to condition something, and we need to overwrite the old program, soon we need to overwrite something. It's already impacting the free will of someone we want to condition. And that's what happens to us in this respect, is how do we condition dogs? As you sow, so shall you reap. How you condition someone without expecting to be conditioned? And then who am I? When I express my art, my poetry, anything I do, and that I put it to the world, and then the world come on me and say, oh, I don't like it, it's too bright, it's too yellow, you are talking BS, or you don't know what you are talking. Everything of that is opinionated. Once we have opinion comes from the conditioning, no matter from which way. Ako počnem sada da pričam na srpskom jeziku, to je samo zato, nećete me razumeti, zato što nikada niste čuli ili učili srpski jezik da razumete šta ja uopšte pričam. I just use a sentence on Serbian in order to talk to a linguist, with this my English, Tarzan English thing and accented English, in order to show you that if you are not conditioned and you don't learn Serbian language, you wouldn't understand what I'm talking on Serbian words. Where actually you do not understand what I say, and me saying it on Serbian doesn't interfere maybe that I'm really telling that the day is beautiful and the sun shines, that I said the truth. But if you can't resonate with the truth by classical conditioning on using the language as a barrier of expressing the truth, then you will think that I'm lying because I'm talking you in English, on Serbian, but you just didn't get what I said because we were just conditioned on different languages. The language already interferes the classical conditioning, so we are conditioned to learn, conditioned to hear certain words, and if you would really want to transcend the words, then you will know that my words on talking to you on Serbian were the truth, expressing my free will, and the sentences I said to you were very nice and honest, regardless that you didn't understand them. So when it comes to dogs, there is very much of importance for us to understand that the respect we need to understand that the dogs are beings, creatures, very emotional, very high level of emotional intelligence. However, because of some strange reason, we are able to connect to the dogs the way we are not able to connect to the people. And I must assure you that I already see it coming, because you have all of these animal welfare organizations that are start questioning these things. They said that like, every single time we use how you call that, we use the dogs as our emotional support. What we actually do is that we make them abused, emotionally abused, for our own sake and our own gratification. So maybe everything that we are doing now in 10 or 15 or 50 years is going to be look at a circus, and the dogs living next to humans gonna be labeled as abused animals, like we labeled animals in circuses, because is the free will of the dog to live in this kind of environment next to humans, if they're actually the only reason the humans have animals because they love animals over people? And can that help us grow? Unfortunately not. And now then becomes like, how do we prepare ourselves for the time to come where the people need to interact with other people in order to make the mastermind alliances around the work that's need to be done. But it can be done with another animal. It must be done with the humans. And what we need to learn from animals is how to interact with the humans. Does that make sense?
Yes, with some reflection, it does make sense, and with some thinking.
But can you reflect and think loud so you help people? Can you translate what I just said into a little more understandable English?
Yeah. So what you said is just use the dogs as a tool to learn from them how to respect and how to really accept people for who they are, and ultimately learn how to love your fellow man unconditionally. And then eventually we'll be able to step a step further and create those nice connections that we share with the dogs, with other people. And a lot of people might get upset when you say that that's other organizations like PETA. I think their ultimate mission is to eliminate pet ownership because they see it as like a toy. And there's like that famous quote from the director. I can't think of it right now, but you can look it up, where she says, if you want a toy, you should get a toy. And, the whole notion of pets should be eliminated because it's self-serving and it doesn't take into account if the pet is really happy living inside four walls, or if they would rather be running around in a ranch or in some type of yard,
or on a street. Because the question becomes like, why, if the kind of the dog that you need to put on a leash is not your dog, because either they're going to run away, or they are running away, or they are thinking about running away because they do not respect their master close enough to be around his feet. And that's where the drama of respect starts. And I can give you one very nice exercise to do with your dogs, because sometimes in order to hear them, we need to start to listen the silence. So the meditation that you can enter with your dogs for the first means to understand the entanglement. So we need to realize that our emotional entanglement with our dogs is something that might end up hurting us down the road. Maybe it is joyful in a moment of happening, by like every single drug that we use, joyful for the small amount of time. When the joyfulness disappears, then what we look for is that burden of unableness to put the two and two together and then move on with the life. We need more of the addicted object of the addiction. So everything, our relationship with the dogs should be taken to a level of respect. So how do we do that? The first thing would be understanding of entanglement. The second thing should be detangling. And detanglement calls for exercise. And I developed these exercises from the, utilizing the family constellation exercise, and I kind of like made them become kind of aware of how we can use them in the dog man relationship and dog human relationship. So what we need to do is, okay, listen here. So first,
What is this exercise for?
detangling, emotional detachment, emotional detachment from your dog.
Okay. Does it work on people?
It does. You can do it. You can emotionally detach from the people as well. But who cares? You have a lot of other, teachers that can teach you how to emotionally detach from the people. I'll help you how to emotionally detach from the dogs. And it's very important. It comes about the dogs and awakening. The entire progress of this is to lead to awaken until we have time. That process can be forced, it can be inspired, and it can happen, but the people need to conceive to that. Consent. So you need to have like a personal, deeper personal consent, not to me or not to something that I say, but your own will to push your life forward and through. So, okay, what does it mean? It means that you first need to understand the entanglement. So, if you have one dog, you do this with one dog. If you have more than one dog, then you do one dog at a time. You pick, and you always go by the law of order. The one that came first, no matter is he older or not older. So the dog, as the dogs came to your life, and now you have a little pack of 2 dogs, even if the first dog came like a puppy and the second dog came as already older, your little family that includes pet has its order. First come, first served mean that you go by the hierarchy of their arrival to your family, because that was order of their need to arrive in your system in order to help you go through no matter what. We don't judge, we accept, we don't care. We just want to see the picture of respect and path to its detanglement. So if you have more than one dog, you will exactly know when the next exercise with the other dog should start, because you will get to the point of detaching from one dog at a time. So first, what you need to bring yourself is to look for the path of silence. So you ask your dog mentally with full respect, is who you are. And give it a time and space for that answer to appear. First, you might not even understand the answer. It will be energetically like you couldn't find the words. Try to exclude completely the mind from that, the things that mind gonna bubble, question, things like, no, you need to listen with a full heart. Who you are.
Who are you?
Who are you? I'm sorry. Who are you? And listen in that space that you have, distance yourself. You can, try to sit when the dog lays down, either watch him in the eyes. It's not necessarily but be a master of that relationship. So you sit in your chair, your dog is laying next to your feet or wherever he lays. Don't be just close, don't be in his space. Give him time, give him space, give the space to the answer, and ask, who are you?
In your mind.
In your mind, silently
Okay. What's
answer.
the second step?
Wait, where are you? You can't rush like this. That's the very important thing.
I'm just watching the time, and we're already coming up to 35 minutes.
So what?
Live. But I know people are busy, and
but then they can leave.
Like it,
if the people are busy, that they can leave.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Okay, never mind.
So, and this is very important thing. Don't rush. Because it's very important to give time and space to this answer. Because it will be awakening, it will be healing when the answer appears. So, once again, you need to sit or be higher. That's very important. The dynamic of the hierarchy in between you and your dog need to be appreciated. You are in the higher level of mastery. Your dog is the most happiest creature when lays and sleeps on the feet of his or her master. Okay? So once you feel that you are ready to ask the question, who are you? And then let slowly the answer appears. Even if you can't give it a logical explanation to that, even if you can't understand it, even if you don't know what to do with it, just leave it there. Slowly, like an onion, peeling the onion, it's going to unfold. The next thing we need to do is actually to give a time of detachment to happen. Learn about and observe yourself. How do you talk to your dog? Which kind of adjectives you would use to describe your dog? When you're going to be able to know that you did the homework right? When the answer appears on a horizon of your mind? When you will understand the message that's given to you? And when you will be able to look at your dog from that distance, you high, he's down, like he's laying down. Always do this when the dog is sleeping, or when the dog is calm, or even if you're going to start doing these things and exercises, you will see that the dogs will tend to relax much more, because consciously and energetically means that you're going to really start digging of why this relationship is important for your healing and awakening. Who are you? And then the real healing will start on the moment of detachment and acceptance of the answer. When you will be able to tell your dog, for example, I call my dog my son. Okay? And then the idea of detachment would be healed when I will be able to tell him, you are not my son. I am not your father or mother. You are my dog. I am your master. And I love you as you are. And then from that moment, the master has responsibilities that arises from that truth. And the truth is healing. No matter how hard it is, where the answer is going to take us, how deep and how far in our history, maybe even before our life we need to go, it's healing. Who are you? Be open to hear very interesting things, and start journey of detachment. Next time, that's respect. Respect is when the moment we came and we take a responsibility of our relationship. Until we are not able to tell to our dog purely with the heart that our mind and our thoughts and our words, we only repeat, you are not my son, I am not your father. You are my dog. I'm your master. And I love you as you are. Those words going to be healing. Those words going to be releasing a lot of anxiety from you and from your dog as well. Anxiety on any level. No matter are we able to tell that to our dogs or not. And give it time. Don't rush it. Nothing is to be rushed. In this dynamic of the work with the energy and with the answers, you need to respect time and space that we all oftentimes just kind of realize that because of no matter we are like already 40 minutes in this live, and then the people have all of those logical things that you come up. It's only just to prevent you from fulfilling your task. And the task is looking for the deep silence, because silence connects beginning with the end. Our life on the beginning was very silent, on the end gonna be again silent, and looks like somehow it's very busy and very chasing everything that happens in between life on the beginning and the end of the life. But what we need to strive is to achieve that silence within the dynamic world. And then the silence will give us possibility to find our place without being pushed to the place where actually is our place. And then we will slowly discover who we are, where do we come from, why did we came here, and what have we done with everything of this as of so far, and how to move on. That would be a understanding of self, as Carol said on the beginning, the self-respect. Self-respect requires self-awareness. Self-awareness requires self-discovery. Self-discovery means detachment from everything that we identify ourselves with and falsely trying to achieve happiness, long-term happiness.
Wonderful, beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Leave us a comment, drop a like, share. It really, really helps us, and we really appreciate it.
You're rushing again, right?
Maybe.
Don't. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being with us. Happy Labor Day to everyone, and happy end of summer and opening a new chapter of the fall. Fall is always an amazing time of the year when you can just get ready to let all the old leaves away from your tree of life. The tree will remain, but the leaves and the beauty of the flowers that are coming in the spring gonna be joyful if we do the homework right. Thank you so much for your time, for your comments, for your trust and support, and then see you next time, wherever and whenever. Bye.